Oh, I can stop making the noise now. Hello, welcome to Donald Mackerel Gaming with me, Donald Mackerel. Back doing another 1 hour review for you, which is my little thing where if you're a bit older and you struggle to get some free time, perhaps you've only got an hour to sit down and play a game. So I do that for you. I let you know what my first impressions are of it, whether I think it's worth playing further and investing more time into, because time is a precious commodity when you get into your 40s like myself. So the game we're going to be playing today is a game by Sega. It's a multi-platform game. I think it's on the Xbox 360, PS3 and PC. I'm playing the Xbox 360 version because I blooming love my Xbox 360. And again, this was recommended by the people that watch this channel. It won a poll. I can't remember what the other games were. I will sort of dink them up around me while I say this. But yeah, this one won. Gonna be honest with you, it didn't live up to expectations. It wasn't a bad game, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. I'm not very good at scary games, really not very good at scary games. I didn't find this scary. It sort of falls into, one of the first ones I did was on Fear for the Xbox 360 again, where in my head I built it up to be this super terrifying experience. And if anything, it was quite mild. It was quite boring. So this very much falls into that thing where I think I built it up to be something scarier than it was. Yeah, sadly didn't really have that sort of effect. But yeah, Condemned on the Xbox 360. Let's just get into the review, shall we? So starting the review, I've got my trusty little notebook, as my memory is awful and I really struggle to remember anything. What I like to do is I like to play the hour of gameplay, go back through it with a fine-tooth comb, writing down things that I noticed, things that affected me at the time, or things that I've noticed playing afterwards. On top of that, when we get to the end of it, we will go through my Gaga review, which is your graphics, your audio, your gameplay, and your appeal. And by appeal, I mean, do I want to play this game after that initial 1 hour period? So again, we've had some Fear comparisons already. I think it runs through pretty much the entirety of the review, but sadly it's not as good as Fear. So it is a murder mystery / detective sort of first person thriller, I suppose you'd say. I know Fear was more of a first person shooter. This one more melee, sort of combat based, but very, very similar in the feel of the games. The very start of it annoyed me, so I must say perhaps my review was tainted by the way that the game started. The first 20 seconds of the game was just me clicking, yeah, I want to play, and then 20 seconds of nothing. It just paused, couldn't do anything. What the hell was going on? I managed to click, right, yeah, we're starting the game now, and then there was another 10 seconds where nothing happened. I'm an impatient boy, so by now it's wasted 30 seconds of my time, which might not seem like that much, but hold your breath for 30 seconds. That's, yeah, it's a long time. It then goes into a 1.5 minute cutscene that you need to know. Like it's already scant on information when you start the game. You need that 1.5 minute cutscene roughly to tell you what's going on. And then it's over 8 minutes, close to 8.5 minutes of just a walking simulator where you follow another detective. They give you some brief outlines of how to control the game, so I suppose it is a tutorial in a way. But yeah, 8.5 minutes of learning how to walk around and pick things up and scan things. It was quite dull, to be honest with you. So yeah, over 10 minutes in total was wasted of my time trying to get towards the start of the game. So sadly, it only left like 50 minutes for me to get into the meat and gravy of the games and see if I enjoyed it or not. So we will start with the game where, after that little walking simulator / tutorial bit, you decide to split up for no reason. They hear some sort of noise, a power goes off. The main detective in charge of it all and another police officer decide to go one way and tell you to go another. Just like, oh yeah, you go and fend for yourself, mate. Don't worry about it. So it doesn't really make any sense. Why wouldn't you stick together? Why wouldn't you group up? I know it's a game, but they could have like done something where they get, I don't know, incapacitated in some way, like something could have fallen on them, and it's up to you to try and save everybody. That didn't happen. So yeah, you go off on your own, you meet your first enemy, and you get a radio call basically saying that these are a new type of criminal that they've never seen before. They're on some form of new drug, and yeah, it makes them behave crazy. So you hear sort of gurgling noises, and then this guy comes out and attacks you, and you just shoot him, and that's the end of it. You hear more gurgling noises, and you're sort of going, all right, so there's going to be loads and loads of enemies here. There aren't. It's quite scarce, the amount of enemies in it. You also realise with that, with your gun, you get very limited ammo, so it does make you conscious of shouldn't I shoot somebody. Yes, you hear loads of different sound effects from the different walking surfaces that you're going across. So if you're going across glass or some sort of soil, or a hard flooring, it does give you a good audio description of where you are, because you don't want to be looking down all the time. But no, it's quite good in that sense. And then you meet your second enemy, and this is where the game falls apart for me. I was told this game had great AI. It was fantastic AI. No, it's really poor AI. You are literally introduced to the worst game of hide and seek you've ever been a part of, where a man just runs behind a bollard with his arm poking out the side, and then just stays there and waits for you to sort of approach him. It's daft. Nothing you can do can coax him out apart from getting close enough for him to try and have a swing at you. So yeah, not really happy with that bit. Again, especially after playing Fear, which I think is an older game than this, and the AI in that was fantastic. The way that they sort of swarm you and surround you doesn't happen in this game, sadly. There are scenes later on where there's multiple enemies and they queue up to take swings at you, so not for me. But good lighting, good shadows, I will say that. Good use of the lighting effects within the game. So again, there's some graphical good bits, even though the overall graphics are a bit ropey. The gameplay is all quite linear. You're just going from A to B. It'll give you a route to go along. There's sections there where there was some racking that had fallen over to block you from going to the point that you actually wanted to head towards. You could have fit through it. If anybody of any sort of, even a bulky person could have got through the racking, but it's just like, no, you can't go that way. You have to spin around and go the other way. And then there's an odd cutscene, a really odd cutscene, where it sort of sets up the game really, but you just get clocked over the head or something, and then a guy comes in, steals your gun, points it at you, and then just says, die, bang. But doesn't shoot the gun, just says bang. Does he want you dead or not? And I'm guessing the more you play, the more you'll figure out what that's about, but at the time it seems quite strange. Then it introduces your melee combat, which will be the vast majority of the game from what I'm guessing. Melee is very, very good in this game, because again, I think that's what they based it around. The gun combat was a bit poor, to be honest with you. I think later on in the game I did try a shotgun as well. I still prefer just clocking people around the head with a steel bar. You fight a couple of enemies, then there's some psychological effects, again very akin to Fear. You then go on, you start having to hunt for rotten crows, or like birds of some description. I'm hoping it gets explained out in the game. At the moment it's just a mishmash of things happening, and them not telling you why they're happening doesn't really make me desperate to find out why they're happening either. I'd rather just have it explained at the start, and at least then it gives me some sort of impetus to go and find out a little bit more about it. I will say at this point as well, the mixture of quite spooked out here to okay, I'm getting bored, was starting to flip towards the bored side. I really did expect a more exciting sort of in your face game. This was very slow, very dull. I'm sure it's somebody's type of game. Really not for me. Really didn't enjoy it. You then meet the other detective, but he's in a different building. I don't know how that happened. He's just decided to nick off into a different building. You get the option again if like you could just go through some boards, go and meet him. No, you decide to still keep hunting 2 different buildings on your own, which makes absolutely no sense. And he tells you that if you pick up a fire axe, you can hack your way through wooden doors. So there are the certain wooden doors that you're allowed to hack your way through with a fire axe. Can't smash through those little things that are separating you and him. Can't smash through the little planks. Again, just silly little mechanics like that make me go, why have you put it in there? There's no point. You might as well just add a door you can open. You don't need to go, oh, you can smash through this, but not that tiny little plank. You can smash an enemy in the face with a fire axe. Doesn't even affect them. You sort of go, oh well, carry on fighting. If someone hit me in the face with a fire axe, I'd be gone. And there's no amount of drugs you can pump into somebody that would stop a fire axe to the face. So yeah, it is at that point as well. You start to notice that the melee weapons are all pretty much the same. They've got different ratings, like some are faster than others, some are better for blocking, some hit harder. They don't really, from what I found out, they're pretty much all the same. So there might be some slight variations. I didn't notice any. Yeah, so written down here, it teaches you that weapons make no difference. You can hit a man in the face with an axe and you might as well have kicked him in the shin. And that is true. And it also says here, bored. So I think at this point I have proper gone into the, oh my god, let's just get this hour over and done with. Then there's another weird cutscene that you can't do anything about, where the main criminal, a guy in an orange boiler suit, beats you up and then gives you this weird speech about
we are both on the same righteousness. Thomas!
Yeah, and then he turns around, kills the police that have all of a sudden decided to come and help you. They were in the other room, now they're not. He kills the police using your gun, and then knocks you out and vanishes. That's the end of the first stage. It gives you this little bit of a sum up. There's apparently more birds that I should have collected and shards of metal. I must have missed the bit about picking up shards of metal. I didn't see any anywhere. But it gives you a little bit of a rundown, like at the end of a Doom level, where it tells you the secrets you've found and how accurate you were and all that sort of business. Anyway, yeah, end of the first stage. So you wake up back in a apartment. It turns out to be your apartment. So to begin with, I was like, is this all of a dream, And then it does the Silent Hill 2 or Resident Evil 3 thing where you look in a mirror and then, whoa, jump scare, big demon thing or beast comes up behind you, and then you blink and you're in your bed. But at this point, it gets really weird again, because I say you wake up and straight away there's a guy who just announces himself as a friend of your father, Martin, I think his name was. He says, oh, I'm a friend of your father. He's obviously sketchy as hell. He's obviously set you up in some way. Again, I've not read any reviews, I've not seen any playthrough for it. I don't trust him in the slightest. He's obviously done something, but he's linked to your dad. Your dad seems to be some sort of, he's got some sort of ESP or special power of some description. But anyway, he tells you to go on the run. He tells you that the police are going to get you. There's nothing you can do. You can't explain your way out of it. They've already made their mind up that you're guilty, so the best thing to do is run away. No, it isn't. The best thing to do would be to go, I radioed it through at the time. Someone stole my gun. Listen back to the, it doesn't matter. Next thing that it brings in, so you've already had an axe that can hack through certain doors, not others. Then you've got a magical shovel that can break through electric gates. I don't understand that at all. That is the worst thing in the game so far, is where they go, oh yeah, the only way to get through this gate is to hit it with a shovel. At this point, the entire police force are hunting for you. The entire police force think you're a cop killer, that you've murdered your own friends. Apart from the lady you've been talking to in the lab, the one who teaches you earlier on how to use your investigatory tools, she calls you up and it's like, oh, don't worry, I think you're innocent, and starts helping you and teaching you how to get further in the game. And there's like more awkward exposition around that, and then a bit of fighting, and it leads to you getting your gun back. But again, it's at this point you realise that guns are pretty much useless. You fire off a few bullets and then you're just left with a gun to just hit people with. So you just pick up a pole and go around whacking people with that. Later on, there's a guy with a gun. I took him out with a pole. What's the point in having a gun in this game? You then get another phone call. This is from the guy that was in your apartment that the police, when you left the apartment, were questioning, and he's sort of going like, oh, you know, I'm a friend of the family. He must have forgotten that I was coming round. If that guy was in a murderer's apartment, the police would be all over him. The police were like, you're going nowhere, mate. We're blocking you. He's on his phone calling you. And I can't really talk too much, but you've got some special skills that I can't tell you about for some reason. Yeah, so trust your instincts, use your special skills. What's all that about? So again, they'd have just taken his phone off and that wouldn't have happened. At this point, I'm really bored. I've just written down keyword. It says you just follow trails, using your investigatory instincts. You fight some enemies. There's more nonsensical mechanics. More cryptic phone calls where yet again he's telling you you've got special skills. I can't tell you about them, but you've got special skills. And then you repair an elevator, just flicking a switch on. And when I got in the elevator, that was pretty much the end of my hour. So let's get to the scoring. All we need is to review it with Gaga. When did it come out? 2005. I'm sure it came out after that. 2005. So it would have been an earlier 360 game. It does look like an early 360 game, to be fair with you. Quite blocky. I'd class it PS2 standard, really, and even that I'd say an average looking PS2 game. Yeah, really blocky, really outdated. The movement of the enemies is so unnatural. They look like they're made out of snakes. They just wiggle around as they walk towards you. So yeah, quite weird in that sense. The lighting was good. Like I say, use of lighting and shadows, very, very good. But if I've given Fear a 5 out of 10, I've got to give this 5 out of 10. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Audio, always something that impresses me, especially it seems to be on the Xbox 360, or perhaps I'm just very, very easy to impress when it comes to it. Yeah, I put that it's got like a film noir score. It's like, you know, your old detective sort of thing. I really enjoyed that. The ambience, you know, of just creepy noises around you, weird sound effects, eerie, long drawn out notes. Yeah, really, really good. That did fill me with a little bit of dread at the start until I realised there was nothing to be scared of. The voice acting as well, surprisingly really, really good. Really enjoyed it. Not just you talking to the other detectives or the policemen, the noises of people in the distance, you know, the echoey stomps on the ground or people screeching, making the gurgling noises that I was on about before. Really good, really did set it up well. So it's pulled itself back a little bit here. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 on that front. The gameplay. Oh God, this is going to upset so many people. I found it really clunky, really clunky. Even things like trying to open a locker. It's like, I've moved a tiny bit that way, a tiny bit that way. There it is, now I can open the locker to get my blooming health. Things like, again, just, I don't understand a lot of the mechanics in it. I don't understand why an axe can only get through certain things, why a shovel can get through an electric gate. Why, again, your shovel can get straight through an electric gate, can't pry open a little box. You have to get a pry bar to do that, but the pry bar can't open an electric gate. Doesn't make any blooming sense to me. Lots of things around that just make me think it could have been better. Probably was good back when it came out, not good now. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Appeal. So, do I want to play this again? It's not the worst game I've ever played. It's definitely not the best game I've ever played. So I put here, I probably will play this again. Probably will. I'm probably going to put some more time into it and see if it gets better. Did I want to play it at the end of the hour? No, not really. But I did save it. I saved my game, which that might mean nothing to you. To me, that's a big thing. If I save my game, that means I go, well, all right, there's a little bit there. I'm probably going to want to come back and continue from this point. Not even like, oh, well, now I know what I know. I'll start again and I'll play it properly. This was a little bit of a, yeah, maybe I will play it again. I can't see myself playing it again soon, though. So off the back of that, I am going to give it a 5 out of 10. So the total, 26 out of 40. That's not bad, you know. It's mediocre. It's literally pretty much smack bang in the middle. We are, just over half. So I suppose it's an alright game. It's not something I'll rush back to, as I said before, but I will try and give it a little bit more gameplay. I've got Condemned 2, from what I've heard. That is not a good game. I've heard it's if you don't like Condemned, you're really not going to like Condemned 2. So yeah, hopefully I'll try and give it a bit more love and a bit more time, and maybe I'll come back to some of these reviews if I do stick some more time into them and update my scores a little bit. But as it is, very, very bang average game for the Xbox 360 and PS3 and PC. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you disagree with me or agree with me, but I'm guessing it's going to be disagree, pop it in the comments. Let me know what I've missed out on, if I've messed up anything in this. Perhaps I've misunderstood a few things. Perhaps there's things that I missed while I was playing it and watching the video back. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. I sort of enjoyed it. You know, it wasn't the worst. It was no Silent Hill Homecoming. But anyway, hope you join me for my next 1 hour review. That's going to be coming out next month. See you all again soon. It's been Donald Mackle, Donald Mackle Gaming. Cheers, everyone.